Hello everyone, welcome to What If Issei Became the Reincarnation of Zalgo from Creepypasta Movie. Before we start, please go support FredBuny96 for writing that awesome fanfic. This is the translated version I made. There will be some mistake in character's gender, but of course Issei is a male. Issei, after defeating the beast of 666, he marries the girls he loved, but as Issei was not with his girls for long since Sirzech sends him on missions since he had finished his last mission, he goes to his wife to surprise her, but upon arrival he gets the worst surprise since some of his girls were having relations with his best friend and rival Vali. He was going to interrupt what they were doing, but he could not since he had called him for the leaders of the factions. After arriving he only saw some leaders, but he would get a disgraceful surprise that the leaders also betrayed him, and not only them, but also his best friend and partner Draig had also betrayed him, but it is serious, the worst mistake they made, that being feared by all factions, and even by the 3 dragon gods will be able to defeat him. Chapter 1. In a dark forest you could see a chestnut tree on the ground in a large pool of blood while cursing the people who swore to love him, since they cheated on him with his best friend and rival Vali, and more so being betrayed by all the factions, and with his partner Draig who had also betrayed him. They wonder what the chestnut tree was, because it was none other than Issei Hayadu, or also known as the Sekiryudai, the one who defeated the beast. Everyone is wondering how this happened to our protagonist, so let's go back hours before the event. Flashback hours before the event. A faction meeting was taking place since some leaders were already fed up with the chestnut, but another was opposed, and so they were for an hour of what area into the Sekiryudai. Meanwhile with Issei, he had already finished one of the missions that had been entrusted to him by a red-haired Siscon. Issei was excited to finally finish his mission. He already wanted to be with his girls since he had left them alone for their missions, but this time he had finished his last mission very quickly and thus returned quickly to his girls and give them a surprise that he had returned. Draig, you look excited, buddy. While Draig looked at his happy partner, Issei, of course I am, Draig. I was finally able to finish the mission, and I will finally be able to see my girls. While looking at the mansion, finally at home, while descending near the mansion's door, Issei entered the mansion but saw that no one was there, and this Issei thought that they had Sally to do the shopping, so Issei went to the living room to wait for them and surprise his girls. But before Issei took a seat on the couch, he heard some Geminos coming from his room. At that, Issei went up silently to see what was happening, but in that he sees the door half open, and in that Issei looks out to see what was happening, but he would be in shock, since there were Rias, Aquino, Zenobia, Ross, Asia, and Le Fay who were naked, and in the middle was his best friend and rival Vali. While having Hex in his bed of Issei, he was about to enter to kill Vali, but in that a communication circle appears in Issei's ear, and this was one of the factions that wanted him to be where they were, since it was something important. In that he retired to attend to the other while he thought of ways to torture Vali, while he transported himself to where the red-haired Siscon was. Issei, serious, what's going on? Sirzech, why did you call me? While he saw that there were only some faction leaders, since there were only Mao, Sirzech, and Ajuka, and among the fallen was Azazel, leader of the fallen angels, along with Penemu, and from the heavens was Michael, leader of the angels, and finally the gods of Olympus was Zeus, god of Olympus, and Poseidon, god of the sea. These looked seriously at Issei while he was confused since he did not know why they looked at him that way. But in that Sirzech takes the word while the others surrounded Issei, while Issei watched as the other leaders along with Penemu surrounded the brown-haired man. Sirzech, I'm sorry, Haida Issei, but we've decided to get rid of you since you're of no use to us. While Sirzech extended his arms along with the other leaders to create a magic circle to immobilize Issei. Issei, angrily, first Vala betrays me with my girls, and now why are you doing this? While looking at the leaders angrily, Azazel, since you were just a pervert and an idiot, and so it was very easy to manipulate you, ha 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 ha, while making fun of Issei. Zeus, since you will only be a hindrance. While Poseidon nodded at what Zeus said. Issei, Draig, give me a little power so I can free myself from this. But at that Draig doesn't say anything. Draig answers, but nothing happened. But what happens? But at that Michael answers him. Michael, the Red Emperor will not help you since he is also on our side. While Issei tries not to believe what Michael said and that it was a lie. But then the gem appears on Issei's left arm and that it was Draig, and then he speaks. Draig, I'm sorry Issei, but what they say is true. While looking at Issei. Issei, while tears came out, because Draig, I thought we were friends and that you would be with me forever. Draig, I'm your friend, don't make me laugh, idiot. I would never be friends with a pervert like you who only does stupid things. While the leaders laughed at the brown-haired guy. Sirzech, well, let's finish this quickly since I have more important matters to do. While they put more pressure on the magic circle where Issei was while he let out screams of pain. While the others did the same as Sirzech to extract Issei's sacred gear. Then half an hour passed. Issei was on the ground while Sirzech had Issei's sacred gear in his hands. But then Azazel asked Sirzech what they were going to do with the brown-haired boy. But then Sirzech approached a wounded Issei. Sirzech, as I said, he is no longer of any use to us, so I'm going to take away my sister's pawns. Hey, Ajuka, would you do me the honors? While looking at a green-haired man who was nodding. Ajuka, it will be an honor. Sirzech while he was extending his arm, and then magic circles appeared on Issei's chest. And from these came out the pawns while Issei screamed in pain since they had been taken out by force. But what they had not realized was that a person had seen everything, and it was a great pile. While she covered her mouth while she had tears on her cheeks since she saw everything that the poor brown-haired woman had said since she loved him like a little brother. But in that Penemu takes the floor. Penemu. And now what will we do with the corpse since Issei had already stopped moving and they thought he was already dead? Sirzech, about that, I'll send him to an old forest where no one will find him. While creating a magic circle under the chestnut tree as it disappeared. Sirzech, okay, now I'll ask my servants to clean this place. As they began to leave the place, while a gray-haired girl came out of her hiding place while looking at the pool of blood that belonged to the brunette, while she fell to her knees while shedding tears for the death of the brunette. End of flashback. Issei, and now I'm going to die here without being able to take revenge on them. And that damn Draig who betrayed me finally closes his eyes. Inside Issei's mind there was only darkness. But then a dark voice sounds. But Issei was not even scared by the voice. Are you seriously going to allow them to humiliate us like that? Issei, who are you? And what do you want from me? Looking around for the person's voice. It seems he's not scared of my boyfriend. Issei, because I should be. I'm already dead, and what do you want? While getting serious. Ha ha ha, I like you, boy, and the reason I'm here is because you are my reincarnation. Issei, surprised like your reincarnation and more. Who are you? Zalgo. Oh, I'm sorry for not introducing myself. As Issei came out of the darkness, he was impressed by the guy since he saw that he was a demon who had horns and many mouths. My name is Zalgo, and I am the most powerful being in the universe since I was feared by all factions and even by the dragon gods. But then Issei interrupts Zalgo. Issei, how come you were the most feared being in the entire universe, and if you were, how come you died if you were powerful? While looking at Zalgo while she sighed. Zalgo, sigh. Well, you see, I had a battle with beings just like me. One was called Sonic EXE and the other was called Tails Doll. The reason we fought was for the throne. For that reason I fought to the death. Issei, and what happened? Who won? While looking at Zalgo to answer his question. Zalgo, nobody won since the of us died. But it seems that I was the only one who was saved from disappearing since I don't feel the souls of those guys. It seems that they disappeared forever. Issei, you're amazing, Zalgo. So you're going to help me with my revenge? While looking at Zalgo who was nodding. Zalgo, of course, since it will be fun since at this moment my soul and yours are merging at this moment. And so we will be one or through. Ha 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 ha, while laughing and then beginning to disappear into particles as they entered Issei's chest while he saw his memories of Zalgo. I hope you have fun, Issei. Issei, of course, I'll have a lot of fun. I'm going to torture those bastards for betraying me. While putting on a dark smile. While outside of Issei's mind his body began to heal from his wounds while he was wrapped in a dark, gloomy energy all over Issei's body, and then stood up. Issei, damn. Those bastards ruined my favorite clothes. While snapping his fingers to change clothes ready, much better. While Issei disappeared from the place to then appear in an old mansion. Issei, this place is perfect for me. It's time to gather allies. While thinking of perfect candidates, well, let's look for my new allies who will help me in my plans. Then disappear and appear in a park. Issei appeared in the middle of the park and then began to search the entire park for his first ally. But then he saw a boy who had a knife and a girl and then interrupted him. Issei, wow, Jeff, you're hard to find. While looking at the aforementioned Jeff, he just stared at him. Jeff, and who are you? While looking at the guy in front of him. Issei, why don't you leave that girl and join me? I can give you better prey, so much so that you'll like it. While looking at Jeff. Jeff, what kind of prey are you talking about? While waiting for a response from the red-haired boy. Issei, let's say demons, angels, fallen angels and others while extending his hand towards Jeff the killer, and well, what do you say you will join me? At that, Jeff releases the girl as she falls to the ground while Jeff shook her hand with Issei's. Jeff, I decided to join you, and I hope you're not lying about what you said about giving me new prey to have fun with while putting on a psychopathic smile. Issei, then it's a deal, and of course I wouldn't lie to you about giving you some prey. Then we leave this place while he disappeared from the park, and then a mansion appeared. Jeff, and now where are we while looking around? Issei, we are in my mansion, do you like it? Jeff, sure, this place is great, or if not, you've said your name. Issei, or where are my manners? My name is Issei, and I am the reincarnation of Zalgo. Chapter 2. Jeff, surprised, wait, you are his reincarnation of Zalgo. Well, then it will be fun to be with you, ha 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 ha, while he started to laugh with excitement. Issei, okay, go and choose your room while I go find another ally, as he disappeared. Jeff, while looking at the boy for the last time, so you've come back, then puts on a smile. While in a dark forest. Issei, so this guy is in this place, as he started walking through the forest. At that moment, Issei has been walking for half an hour, but then he feels someone approaching him, and then Issei turns around and sees in front of him a tall man who had no face and was wearing an elegant suit, while she had some tentacles on her back. Issei, wow, Slender Man, it's been a while since we last saw each other, while extending his hand. You don't remember me anymore, old friend, while looking at him. Slender Man, do we know each other? While watching him very carefully, he feels something familiar and realizes something is you. But you hadn't died years ago. Issei, actually I did die, but I was reincarnated again in a new body. Slender Man, I see what he wants from me, as he brought him closer. Issei, I'm just looking for allies to help me, and I came looking for you, while extending his hand. Slender Man, would you like to join me? What does he say, friend? Slender Man thought about it for a moment, and then agreed to join him. Slender Man, while shaking Issei's hand, of course I will join you, my lord Zalgo. Issei, then we go, but then Slender Man interrupts Issei. Something happens, Slender Man. Slender Man, I can actually take my daughter Sally with my son, while Issei nodded. Then now I'm back, my lord Zalgo. Minutes later. Issei, okay, we're all fine, let's get out of here, as he disappeared from the forest, and then appeared in a mansion. While Slender Man and Sally were looking at the entire mansion, Sally approached Issei to ask him a question. Sally, a little nervous. Hey, Mr. Zalgo, this place will be our new home. Issei, with a smile, of course, Sally, this place is your new home, while stroking Sally's hair while she smiled with happiness. Well, go choose your rooms. But then Jeff arrives. Jeff, wow, what do we have here? If not more than Slender Man, while putting on a sadistic smile. Slender Man, hi Jeff, how long has it been since we last saw you? While he pulled his tentacles out of his back. Issei, you too, no fighting. Understood, while emanating a sinister aura. Jeff/Slender Man, haha. Jeff, okay, now what are we going to do? Looking at him. Slender Man, if my lord leaves, what will we do now? Issei, just call me Issei. Okay, while the two nodded. Well, I'm going to tell you what we do and why, so pay attention. Understood, so that the two could feel again. In that, Issei tells him that he was betrayed by the girls who played at loving him, along with his best friend having Hex in his bed, and that he was also betrayed by the factions, but I only say the names that betrayed him, and more his best friend and partner Draig, or also known as the Red Emperor, who also betrayed him, while Jeff and Slender Man could not believe what had happened to Issei, and they wanted to kill them, but first they wanted to torture them first, and then kill them slowly and painfully, except Sally, since she was not there, since she had gone to choose her room. Slender Man, I can't believe what they did to you, my lord, while his tentacles on his back went out of control. Jeff, and everything you did for them, and yet you betray them. They deserve to die, while he had his knife ready to kill. At that, Issei puts on a sinister smile. Issei, and of course we will do it, my friends. But for now you do the following. While Issei grew tentacles and placed them on the foreheads of the while they saw his plans. I want you to go to those places and kill everyone you can, but don't leave a witness. Jeff/Slender Man, as my lord/boss orders. While Jeff and Slender Man disappear from the mansion to fulfill their mission. Issei, very soon I'll get paid for betraying you, damn it. But then Sally arrives while she was holding a book. Something happens. Sally, Oni-chan, could you read me a bedtime story? While she sees Issei smiling at her. Issei, of course Sally, let's go, while holding her hand. Meanwhile with Jeff, he had reached his destination. Jeff, so this place will be fun against those fallen, as he started to look for him. But then he finds about Fallen. This is my lucky day, I found, pray let the game begin. But then he sees that withdrawal. Well, let's start with that. GG laughed inside with excitement. While with the Fallen, that was fun, don't you think so, friends? Fallen, not even the day's friend, was the best card game I've ever played. But in that the song sounds, Fallen, hear where that creepy music is coming from as he starts to tremble in fear from the melody. Kato 1. Trembling with fear, I don't know. But something tells me that something bad is going to happen to us. Don't you believe it, friend? While turning to see another friend. But he wasn't there. Where is the other one? Kato 3. I don't know. He was here a moment ago, but then he turns around and sees that the other one is no longer there, and now where is he? I hope it's not a joke of his. But the music continued further. Fallen. It's not funny, friends, come out. But then she feels a pain coming from her stomach. But then she sees something that terrifies her. Jeff. Wow, how weak are the fallen angels, ha 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 ha. With a quick movement he takes out his fallen knife. Don't worry, very soon you will be reunited with your friends. And then he makes a cut to the fallen angel's throat as he fell to the ground dead. Well, let's go with the next ones, ha 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 ha. And then he leaves the place, while with the other fallen that remained also in thought to listen to the music. And then Jeff begins a massacre with the fallen. Was like that for half an hour, since some tortured them in the worst way. While this they screamed to stop, but Jeff did not stop since it was fun to do it. I suffered, but one by one they died, and the last one killed him so sadistically. And then Jeff walked away from the place while cleaning his knife that had the blood of the fallen, while he had a smile of satisfaction. Jeff, that was the best massacre I've ever done in my life, ha 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 ha. I'm looking forward to my next victims that the boss gives me. Then leaves the place. While with Slender Man he had arrived at a church where inside there were angels with about priests inside the place. Slender Man, today I'm going to have a lot of fun. While his tentacles came out of his back, let the massacre begin. While those who were inside begin to hear eerie music, everything turns dark. Angel, what's going on? Where's that creepy music coming from? But then he starts to hear some screams. In that Slender Man begins a massacre with some priests were torn in half of their bodies, to another tore off their arms along with their legs, and some angels tore off their wings in the worst way that these begged him to stop, but Slender Man ignored their pleas. But in that he saw that some wanted to escape and others tried to ask for help, but Slender Man pierced them with his tentacles to prevent them from escaping or asking for help. It was like that for an hour, but Slender Man had not killed all, except one who was an angel, but this one was unconscious. In that Slender Man uses a tentacle to carry an unconscious angel, while also leaving the place while walking in a large pool of blood and corpses that was scattered all over the place. Slender Man, I'll take this angel to my lord so he can get valuable information from him, while I disappeared from the place. But after Slender Man left the place, an angel had arrived because he had a report from Michael that he was going to give to everyone. But at the moment he entered he would be terrified because what he was seeing in front of him was a massacre of many destroyed bodies. Angel, with terror, but what the F happened here while looking for a survivor? But there wasn't. Everyone was dead. I have to tell Michael about this quickly while creating a magic teleportation circle. Already at Issei's mansion, Jeff arrives, who saw with a face that reflected that he was satisfied with the massacre he made with some fallen. But then Slender Man also arrives. But he brought an unconscious angel. Then Jeff asks Slender Man, Jeff, hey Slender, why are you bringing trash into the house? You know Issei is going to get mad for bringing trash. You better throw it in the trash. But then Issei arrives. Issei, who is the brave one to summon me? The great Issei, while he had a person's arm. Jeff, and where did you get that arm from, Issei? While looking at him, Issei, I found this arm over there, then threw it aside while a drop of anime-style sweat came out of both of them. Slender Man and that angel, why did you bring it? If you know that the trash can is outside, you know it. Slender Man, the reason I brought him is to get valuable information out of this angel. Issei, I have a better idea. Slender Man, could you give it to me? While Slender Man handed it to Issei. Jeff, and what are you going to do, Issei, with that angel? While waiting for an answer from Issei. Issei, well, I'll turn him into a puppet and send him to his angel friends, so I can get valuable information, while putting on an evil smile. Slender Man, that's a perfect plan, my lord. Issei, okay, you two go rest. Tomorrow we will continue and also look for another ally, and I know who is perfect, while looking at a photo of a clown type. Chapter 3. At that, Jeff and Slender Man went to their rooms while Issei had gone to the basement with the unconscious angel, while he sat him on a chair, and this thick one tied him from his hands and finally his feet, while he also put a collar on the angel's neck to prevent him from using magic. After half an hour the angel began to spit. Angel, where am I? But then he saw that he was in a chair and was tied up. But why am I tied to this chair? More because I can't use magic. But then he hears a voice behind him. Issei, calm down subject, very soon you will stop suffering, while walking away from Angel. Angel, what are you going to do to me since I was terrified? Issei, well, you will help me get valuable information while holding a glass jar. Angel, I will never help you no matter what you do. I won't do it while trying to free himself. Issei, oh, of course you will, my friend, since you did this. At that, Issei creates a magic circle on the angel's chest, and he begins to scream in pain for half an hour. After half an hour you could see a lifeless angel as Issei held the jar. But inside it was a white flame as he just looked at it. Issei, with a smile, it worked well, it's time to do the next thing. With that Issei does the same, but this time he introduces a black flame. I hope it works. After Issei placed the black flame on the angel's body and he waited for it to work, he was like that for half an hour. But then the angel's body began to move. Issei, well, it worked too, while looking at the angel. Well, Angel, who is your master? Angel, you are my master. At that Issei releases him, and then the angel stands up. Issei, well said, now you know what to do, right? While he nodded, go ahead and don't let them find you out. Understood. Angel, as you ordered, master, while he created a teleportation magic circle. Issei, it's time for me to rest too, while heading to his room. Meanwhile in heaven, Angel, Michael-sama, I bring terrible news, while calling the attention of his leader. Michael, what's happening that makes you so upset? While looking at the angel, well, calm down and tell me what's happening. Angel, what's happening, my lord, is that when I went to see my colleagues to give them the report, as he began to remember the terrifying scene, and then held his head in terror, I found everyone dead, all mutilated, my lord. Michael, what did you say? While he was upset by the news. But then he asked him something, and didn't you feel if there was an essence of magic to know who could have done it? While the angel shook his head. Angel, I'm sorry, my Michael-sama, but there was no magic receipt to know who it was. Michael, it's okay, as he sat down in his chair, thanks for letting me know, you can leave. Angel, as Michael-sama ordered, while leaving the place. But then Michael called his best angels to go investigate who could have done it. The same thing happened in Grigori, since Azazel was investigating the place where the massacre took place. He was like that all night, but he couldn't find anything about who could have done it. The next morning, he was in the mansion of a certain redhead, slender man, come down to breakfast while serving breakfast. At that moment, everyone wanders off to have breakfast except one who was still sleeping. But then Slender Man realizes that someone was missing. Slender Man, can someone go wake Issei up so he can come for breakfast? But then Sally raises her hand. Sally, I'll go wake up Oni-chan, as she ran towards Issei's room. But then Sally arrives at the redhead's room, and then you enter the room. Sally, Oni-chan, wake up, it's already dawn. Issei, Sally, Oni-chan, get up, while shaking Issei. Issei, give me another minute. But then Jeff arrives. Sally, Jeff, why did you come? Looking at him. Jeff, Slender sent me to help you. But then Jeff takes out a bucket of cold water. Step aside, Sally. I'll take care of this. Sally, I'd better get out of here, as Sally left the place. Jeff, it's time to get up, sleepyhead, while throwing cold water on him, while Issei quickly got up from his bed to do the next thing. Issei, you leave the ship, children and women first, and me too, while throwing himself out the window. Hiya. Jeff, I'd better get out of here. Bye, said Manchito as he left the redhead's room. Minutes before the event, while in the dining room, Sally arrives. Slender Man, and well, he's already woken up. While looking at his daughter. Sally, I couldn't wake him up, as she sat down in the chair. But then Jeff came and said that he would take care of waking him up. But then they hear a noise like someone had broken a window. But then Jeff arrives and Slender Man asks him what happened. Slender Man, hey Jeff, what was that noise that made a moment ago? While waiting for an answer. Jeff, let's say someone wanted to fly and couldn't. But then Issei comes through the door while she had some branches on her head and a few leaves on her clothes. But then Slender Man asks her what happened to her. Slender Man, my lord, what happened to you? While looking at him. While Issei cleaned himself of the dirt and removed the branches that he had on his head, and then answered him. Issei, well, I had a nightmare that I was on the Titanic and that it was sinking and I was throwing myself over the side of the ship. but that ended with me crashing into some bushes as I sat down. While Jeff whistled and looked away, Sally called Issei's attention so he would look at them. Sally, Oni-chan, it was Jeff who threw a bucket of water at you while she hid behind Slender Man. Issei, so it was you, Jeff, while cracking his knuckles. Because of you I threw myself out the window, so you better run. But then Jeff heard some wise words and they were run bitch run, and then he ran away from the place. Issei, Sally, could you pass me the rifle that's there, while pointing at a weapon? Sally, here you go, Oni-chan, while handing the rifle to Issei. Issei, thanks Sally. Slender Man, while loading the gun. Slender Man, yes, my lord, while looking at him. Issei, prepare the pot since I'm going hunting, since I'm going to hunt an idiot, while snapping his fingers while putting on hunter clothes. Well, I'm going, wish me luck, and then leaving the place. Sally, good luck. Oni-chan. While Slender Man had an anime-style drop coming out of the scene. Slender Man, okay daughter, let's finish eating while those two stop playing. Sally, hey daddy. While there was a half hour, we see Issei dragging Jeff, still injured, while he had many bumps on his head. Issei, I'm back from my hunt, while throwing an unconscious Jeff. And what's for breakfast, Slender Man? Slender Man, breakfast is on the table, my lord, while he was picking up the still unconscious Jeff. Issei, to have breakfast, while heading to have breakfast. After Issei finished breakfast, he went to the room where Slender Man was to give him his next mission. Issei, hey Slender Man, I have another mission for you, while giving him some photos and telling him where they were. I want you to bring these people to me, but don't hurt them, understood? And another thing, if you see the other bitches, don't kill them for now, understood? While he nodded. Slender Man, as my lord commands, then disappears from the place. But then a Jeff appears with bandages on his head and part of his body. Jeff, and I don't think you'll give me a mission, since Jeff wanted to do another massacre. Issei, of course I have a mission for you, while putting his hand on Jeff's forehead. In that place you will find some demons, so have fun and don't forget anything about witnesses, understood? While looking at him seriously. Jeff, don't worry, I won't leave any survivors because I'll kill them all, ha 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 ha, while laughing at the fun. Well, I'm going to play with my friends, while leaving the place. Sally, Oni-chan, and what will we do? While looking at the redhead. Issei, well, you and I will go look for a pet, while he already had the perfect pet in mind. As they teleport to a spooky forest. Issei's first allies: Slender Man, Jeff the Killer, Laughing Jack, Smile Dog, Bloody Painter, Eyeless Jack. For now these will be Issei's allies. Later I will add more of Issei's allies. Chapter 4. Issei, well, we arrived while looking at the dark forest. Well, Sally, let's go look for a pet. While nodding. Sally, sure Oni-chan, let's go. While they began to walk through the forest. While with Jeff the Killer, he had already reached his destination, which was an abandoned warehouse, while saying the following. Jeff, this is the place where you have those idiots. While he looked out the window and saw demons inside the warehouse while they were chatting among themselves. But look what we have here, there are prisoners. While he took out his knife, let the massacre begin. In that, Jeff infiltrates the warehouse without being detected, while he began to block all the exits since he did not want them to escape. And then he placed a seal that Issei had given him so that the demons could not use their magic. While with the demons. Demon 1, they were really hard to catch while looking at guys tied up in a cage. Demon 2, don't even mention it since they killed of us while sitting on a chair. Demon 3, but I still don't understand why Ajuko-sama wants those things alive, while pointing at them, if they are just pathetic humans who only like to kill people. Demon 4, they may be human, but Ajuko-sama still loves them. At that, one of the guys speaks. Once I'm free I'll kill them and use their blood to create some beautiful paintings. But then a demon spits on him while saying the following. Demon 5, shut up, being insignificant. I would kill you right now, but I have orders to take you alive to Ajuko-sama, while looking with superiority. But that's what the other is talking about. Calm down, friend, since you're telling me that we're going to do a massacre with these demons, since this one saw Jeff the Killer in that. The other realizes while saying the following. I see, while putting on a psychopathic smile. But it was not seen since he had his mask. But the demons did not understand what they were saying. But then one of them approaches one of them and asks them what these are talking about. Demon 6, what are you two talking about? While looking at the masked men as they began to laugh maniacally, something that left them more confused. But then a demon was going to speak. But then a scary music started playing. Where does that scary music come from? At that point the demons search everywhere. But at that point a demon realizes that the guys were no longer there, and they realize that the music was just a distraction. But at that point everyone turns their gaze and sees dead demons, and in front of them were guys. Of them were the ones they had captured, but they didn't know the other. But at that point Jeff speaks. Jeff, I never imagined that you would let yourselves be captured by those insignificant beings, Bloody and Jack, while looking at your friends. Bloody, thanks for the help, Jeff, while taking his knife out of his pocket. Jack, they didn't capture us because they cheated, since there were of them, while taking out his knife while pointing it at the demons, but we were able to finish off of them. Jeff, then let the massacre begin, while putting on a psychopathic smile. At that, Jeff launches himself towards the demons along with Bloody and Jack to kill the demons, but they would try to use their magic. But he would realize that they could not use their magic. But at that a demon would speak. Demon, with a scared voice, be because I see can't use my magic while trying to create a magic circle. But it didn't work. But then Jeff answers him. Jeff, that's easy to answer. While all the demons paid attention to him, I have placed a cello that blocks all magic so they can't escape and can ask for help, while he pierced the demon in the chest. And so the massacre began, where Jeff cut the demons' wings so they could not fly, while Bloody cut the throats of demons while looking for the best blood to make his paintings, while with Jack he killed demons while he opened their stomachs and took out their organs, while he took out their favorite food, while the that remained tried to escape on foot. But Jeff would not allow them to escape, since he ran through them with his knife until killing the last of them. But then Jack calls Jeff's attention. Jack, hey Jeff, while Jeff answered him. Jeff, what's up, Jack, while cleaning his knife. Jack, when those demons captured us, one of them heard that another group caught 2 others like us, but they had them on the lake dock. Is it better to go help them? Don't you think, Jeff? While looking at his 2 friends. Bloody, Jack is right, we have to go help them. We can't leave them, while Jeff looks and answers. Jeff, okay, let's go for them. Then the of them head to the dock. While with Slender Man, he had also reached his destination, and he proceeded to look out the windows while looking for the people that Issei told him to take. And then he sees older chestnuts, and in front of them a group of girls who were Kaneko, Kuroka, Ravel, Irina, Sona and Tsubaki. Those were the girls, since Slender Man already knew the name of each of them, since Issei told him their names and what they were like. Then he does the following while appearing in front of them. While seeing him, the girls get into a fighting pose while Sona and Tsubaki protected the older chestnuts. But then they begin to feel tired and everyone falls asleep. At that, Slender Man uses his tentacles while lifting them from the ground and then taking them away from the place, while they teleported towards the mansion and then put them to his master's guests on the sofas in the living room while they were still asleep. While with Issei and Sally. Sally, Oni-chan, I already found a cute puppy, while hugging the dog, and it had a smile that was identical to a certain pale one. Issei, you're right, Sally is a great dog. Plus she looks a lot like Jeff, while looking at the dog. While elsewhere near some docks a boy with pale skin sneezes. Jack, are you okay, Jeff? Looking at his partner, and he answered. Jeff, I'm fine, it's just that I felt like someone was comparing me to an animal, while his companions were confused, but decided to continue with the rescue. Back in the forest. Issei, well Sally, it's time to go, while looking at little Sally as she nodded. But then Issei feels a familiar energy and decides to see. In that, Issei creates a teleportation circle and they are teleported to an abandoned fair. But in that he sees a guy that Issei knew and he talks to him. Issei, hello Laughing Jack, how have you been, my friend? While looking at the aforementioned, he turned around and the latter answered him. Laughing Jack, do I know you? While looking at the redhead, but then he realizes his power. Wait, it's you Zalgo, so you're alive, and what brings you here? While Issei answers him. Issei, well, I'm just looking for allies to help me in my revenge, so you say friend you join me and help me in my revenge. While he extended his hand towards Laughing Jack and he shook it. Laughing Jack, and why do you need allies, my friend, if you alone could finish off the garbage? While he let go of Issei's hand, he looked at him and Issei answered. Issei, you're right that I can do it alone. But it would be boring, so it would be better to do it with friends to make this massacre more fun. While looking at Laughing Jack, he laughed. Laughing Jack, ha 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 ha, you're right friend. It's boring that you only have fun, it's better to do it with friends. Of course I'll help you friend. While looking at Issei. But in that a female voice is heard. But in that Laughing Jack recognizes her, and it's you. While he looks at that, a woman in a nurse's outfit comes out from the shadows and she answers. And I would also like to join you, my lord Zalgo, while bowing towards Issei as she answered. Issei, Just call me Issei and of course you're welcome, and while looking well it's time to go while making a teleportation circle and they are transported to the redhead's mansion. But then they are greeted by Slender Man. Slender Man, welcome my lord, and it seems he has come with more allies while looking at laughing Jack, and then smiled Dog while Issei answers. Issei, that's right Slender Man, they are our new allies. Yes Slender Man, how did it go on the mission I gave you? While Slender Man answers him. Slender Man, I have fulfilled it my lord, right now they are asleep and will wake up in an hour while looking at Issei while he says the next. Issei, you've done a good job Slender Man, and Jeff hasn't arrived while looking for him with his eyes. But then Slender Man answers. Slender Man, well, when I arrived I didn't see him, my lord, while Sally was hanging on one of his tentacles. Issei, I see, well for now you two go choose your room while the two nodded. But then looks at the dog. Very well boy, you will come with me while he took Smile Dog. While with the trio they were looking out the window and they were surprised at that Jeff is the first to get out of the impression. Jeff, wait, that's Jane the killer, and the other one who looks like Slender Man. But his female version, or maybe she just dresses like a woman, ha ha ha, while laughing since the second person looked like Slender Man, only this one was a woman with long black hair that reached her waist, and her clothing was almost the same as her partner's, only this one was wearing a skirt. Bloody, come on Jeff, stop laughing and let's help them while preparing his knife. Jack, okay, there are demons, okay, each one will take, okay, while the nodded, okay, let's go, let's show those idiots who they mess with. Jeff, you're right Jack. We have to massacre them while licking his knife with excitement. Bloody, then let's go since I want to make new paintings with his blood while preparing his brush. While with the demons they did not realize that they were going to die for people. Demon 1, you know one thing that's hard to catch while grabbing Jane's chin, but doing so made Jeff the killer furious. I think we can have some fun, don't you think? Demon 2, hey, don't you think the other team should have arrived with the prisoners? While all the demons looked at them, and you're right that they would have already arrived. Demon 3, you're right, and even more so since they don't answer me. Something is wrong. It's better to go see what happened. At that, half of them were going to go, but they couldn't invoke their magic circles. But then they hear some creepy music. Segundos aliados, Slender Girl Pareja de Slender Man, and Jane the Killer, Scrap Baby K Sararias, Scrap Bolora Esta es Aquino, Springtrap, Graphia. Explanations. Issei will use animatronics to put the souls of Rias and Aquino so that he can control their bodies, but so that they do not dare to attack him. They will feel an electric shock every time they try to attack Issei. Springtrap is in charge of watching Rias and Aquino so that they do not try something against Issei and that they do their job, which is to scare, since Issei opened a horror restaurant, but Springtrap made a contract with Issei that if he fulfills the deal Issei will release him from the animatronic suit. Graphia will leave with her son since she was enraged by what they did to her little brother Issei, and she abandons her ex-husband, but she will realize that her little brother is alive, and she will decide to join him and help him with his revenge against those who betrayed them. Second Harem. Kon, Kuroka, Tsubaki, Ravel, Great Red Femme, Trihexa 5, Chapter 5. At that Jeff would launch himself towards the demon that had touched Jane. He would bury his knife in his chest, while the other demons, seeing how Jeff had killed their companion, at that one of the demons kicks Jeff while he is sent to crash against some boxes. At that Jeff would get up, but at that he would see an axe next to him, and he would pick it up, and then launch himself towards the demon that had kicked him, and then split him in half with the axe, while the other demons, seeing such a horrendous scene, would be terrified, and he would try to attack Jeff, but he quickly turned with the axe in his hand. He would begin to kill the demons. Some would cut off their heads and others would split them, but another would try to escape. At that Jeff would throw the axe, burying it in the back of a demon, and at that Jeff would pick up his knife while looking at the others, while with Jack and Bloody he would see the massacre that Jeff was doing. They would go to free their companions so that they would also join the massacre. Already free them, they would join with Jeff to massacre the demons, while others cut their throats. Others were split in half by black tentacles from Slenderman, while Jeff, seeing her, she would remember her friend Slenderman, but in female version, something that made her laugh. They were there for half an hour. While Jeff killed the last demon, he throws the corpse with the rest of the others, while Bloody was making his masterpieces with the blood of the demons. While with Jack, he would ask his companion how they ended up being captured by some pathetic demons. Jack, hey Jane, while getting her attention, and she responded. Jane, yes Jack, what's wrong? While cleaning her knife. Jack, How come you two were captured by those pathetic demons while looking at her? And she answered him, Jane, oh, about that, those bastards set a trap for us. She tells everyone about that while Jack paid attention to everything Jane was telling him. While with Jeff, hey, you remind me of someone I know while looking at Slenderman, and she answered him, Slenderman, seriously, who is that person who looks like me? While waiting for a response from Jeff responded, Jeff, well, who else is a guy called Slenderman? While Slenderman would be surprised by what Jeff had said that there was another one like her. While with Jane and Jack, so that's what happened to you? While Jane nodded, I see. Well, the same thing didn't happen to us like you. This surprised Jane. Surprised really? While Jack nodded. And how they escaped from them? At that, Jack answers her, Jack, it was Jeff who helped us since those demons had chained me and Bloody. While looking at Jane. But then Jeff approaches them. Jeff, well, it's time to go with the boss, while using a paper that had a symbol, and this teleported them to Issei's mansion. Upon arriving at the mansion, they would see two familiar faces, Bloody and Is you, while looking at the nurse, and she would answer, and oh hello Bloody, so you are here too, while looking at Jack and Jane and a new partner, and you are? Slenderman. I am Slenderman. It's a pleasure to meet you, and while bowing while and answered, and the pleasure is mine, Slenderman, while looking at her. But then Slenderman would appear while Slenderman would blush upon seeing Slenderman, something that Jane and Ann would notice. But then Issei would enter along with Sally, and Smile Dog would come next to her. Then Slenderman would approach Issei to tell him that he had fulfilled his mission. Slenderman, my lord, I have brought the people you asked for, and I have left them asleep in the living room. While bowing, while the Issei answered him, Issei, good job Slenderman, now I'm going to see them. While Slenderman bowed. In that, Issei would go to the room where the only girls who had not betrayed him would be, along with their parents, and that they begin to wake up and would look at their surroundings. But in that he would see a red-haired boy, but the girls would feel a dark power, and that they would put themselves in a combat pose, while the older brown-haired boys would look at the redhead, while he, seeing the behavior of his girls and the two black-haired girls, decides to talk. Issei, what a way to greet me, girls, while he sat down on one of the armchairs. Don't you recognize me? It's me. While the girls were surprised, since the redhead was their beloved brown-haired boy. Girls, seriously, it's you, Issei senpai Naya Kun-sama, while looking at the redhead, and he nodded. While the parents were equally surprised that the red-haired boy was their beloved son, the mother was the first to recover and approached the red-haired boy. Samantha, you really are my little Issei, while the redhead, and he answered, Issei, of course, Okasan, I am your son. While giving him a smile, the father also replies and says the following, Goru, but what happened to your appearance, son? While looking at his son, he responded, Issei, well, how do I tell you? While looking at his parents and his girls and the black-haired girls, let's say that Rias Gremory betrayed me, along with Akino, Zenobia, Asia, Lefei, and Rossweiss, while I was having relations with Vala, and also some of the faction leaders who took out the pawns, along with the traitor Draig, left me in a forest. I thought I was going to die. But while looking at the ceiling, Irina, but what happened, Issei-kun? While looking at the redhead, and he answers, Issei, it was there that I discovered that I was the reincarnation of a powerful being and feared by all factions and the dragon gods. While those present were surprised at what they were hearing, and when our souls worked, I obtained this new power, and now I will make them pay for having betrayed me. But in that I would see the Queen of Sona, while she leaned towards the redhead and said the following, Tsubaki, I'm really sorry, Issei-kun. While the redhead was confused and asked him why he was apologizing to him. Issei, why are you apologizing, Tsubaki-chan? While looking at the black-haired girl, and he responded, Tsubaki, since Kiba was the one who told me when you were on missions. While clenching his fists, I got really upset with him since you helped us a lot, and I couldn't believe what they were going to do to you, and then I told Kaicho everything, and that's why we came to tell your parents what they wanted to do to you. While looking at the redhead, and he answers, Issei, I see, so Kiba also betrayed me. While letting out a sigh. Well, leaving that aside, I want to ask you a question. While a blonde answers, Ravel, and what is that question, Issei-sama? While looking at the redhead, and he answers, Issei, I want to know if you want to join me. While looking at all the girls, and they answer them, girls, of course we want to be with you, Issei/senpai/Naya/kun/sama. While the redhead put on a smile, since he knew that they would never betray him. Issei, then I welcome you to your new home. But then the redhead's mother would get his attention. Samantha, wait a moment, son. While the redhead looked at his mother, if this place is going to be our new home, don't you think it needs cleaning? While running his finger over the furniture, and it had does so, call the others to help me clean this place. While putting on a grim smile, while those present trembled with fear, while the redhead called all his allies, while those present were surprised by Issei's allies, while Slender Man is the first to speak. Slender Man, something's wrong, my lord, while looking at the redhead, and he answered him. Issei, since you're all here, I'll tell you what you'll do now, while looking at all his allies with a serious look, while Jeff answers him. Jeff, and what is it, while waiting to commit another massacre? But then they heard a female voice and everyone turned to look at her, and she would say the following. Samantha, in spite of it, you come first, so you forego change. I'm not going to allow you to walk around covered in blood, so go change now, while looking at Jeff, Jack, Bloody and Jane, since their clothes were stained with the blood of the demons they had killed. But then Jeff responds. Jeff, I'm not going to obey your orders, while looking at the woman, and she answers. Samantha, so you're not going to do what I told you at, while giving a small smile, while releasing a dark aura that made all the creepypastas and those present tremble. But in that Bloody, Jack and Jane had gone to change, while with Jeff and Jeff, trembling with fear, I'll change right now, while he made a military pose and then went to his room. While the redhead looked at his mother while thinking about one thing. Issei thoughts, it seems that my mother possesses my dark aura. While looking at his mother, while he is. Samantha, very well, you, while pointing at Slender Man, and he answers. Slender Man, who am I? Pointing at himself, while Samantha answers him. Samantha, if you would help me with the cleaning. Understood, while looking at the others, and they nodded. Okay, let's start with the cleaning. So the brunette put all of Issei's allies to clean the whole house, while he watched that they did their job very well. They were there for hours since the house was very big. Since she had managed to finish cleaning everyone, they were exhausted, so everyone went to their rooms, as well as the redhead's parents. While with Issei, he was chatting with the Citri heiress. Issei, well, Sona-chan, would you like to join me? While looking at the black-haired girl, he responded. Sona, of course, Hayate-kun, while looking at the redhead, after all, I owe you my life since you saved me, and not just me, while looking at his queen, and he answered. Tsubaki, I am also grateful to you, Issei-kun, since in the war you saved me from that evil dragon that was about to kill me, while bowing, while the redhead answered her. Issei, it was nothing, Tsubaki-chan, after all I couldn't let them hurt someone as cute as you, while Tsubaki blushed since he called him cute, while she responded. Tsubaki, blushing thank you, Issei-kun, while looking away, while she sounded jealous for some reason, but he caught the redhead's attention while saying the following. Sona, well, Hayate-kun, see you at the meeting that will take place in days, while bowing, while the redhead answered her. Issei, I won't miss it, while saying goodbye to the brunettes. Chapter 6. Issei, well, for now I will start with the second phase of my plan, while looking at a photo of a horror restaurant. Those will be perfect for my horror attraction. While looking at photos, very soon we will see each other, Rias Gremory, and also you, Akino Himejima, will pay for having betrayed me while burning the photos. To then go to sleep with the only girls who did not abandon him, while in an unknown place there was a being covered in blood since he was surrounded by corpses, while he looked at the sky while saying the following. So you're back, huh? This is going to get interesting. While there would be a portal in front of him, I think I'll go pay him a visit. Zalgo, ha 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 ha. While the being entered the portal, and it was closed, while with the redhead he had already gotten up to go to breakfast, and then begin the second phase of his plan. Issei, well, I'll be right back, guys. While preparing a teleportation circle, a white-haired girl would approach him and say the following. Kaneko, where is senpai going? While looking at the redhead, he answered. Issei, let's say I'm going to visit someone, but then a black-haired girl would say the following. Kuroka, and can I go Naya, while waiting for the redhead, and he answered her. Issei, of course, Kuroka-chan, and you too, Kaneko-chan, will come, while she answers. Kaneko, me, while pointing at herself, while the redhead nodded and answered. Issei, yes, you're Kaneko-chan. Looked at the others. Now we go back. In that he teleports to a part of the underworld, while the redhead says the following. Issei, well, we arrived, while looking at the place, but then the white-haired girl says the following. Kaneko, senpai, what are we doing here? While she looked at him, and he answered her. Issei, answering your question, my cute Kaneko, while she blushed. I plan to create a kingdom, while they were surprised. But then the black-haired girl says the following. Kuroka, seriously, that's what you're doing? Issei Naya, while looking at the redhead, and he answered. Issei, of course, my Hexi Kuroka, while the black-haired girl blushed while raising her hands and created a gigantic circle to then create a kingdom. But first she created a barrier around it so that no one would notice him. Ready. While the girls were surprised by the kingdom that the redhead had created, while he said the following. Issei, well, we're done here. now let's go see those traitors while creating a teleportation magic circle. Then they arrive outside an old building that a certain white-haired woman recognizes and says the following. Kaneko, senpai, what are we doing in front of the occult club while looking at the redhead? And he answered. Issei, well, let's return this to her while he took a tower piece out of his pocket dimension. Something that surprised the white-haired girl, in that they are wrapped in a black fog while entering the occult club. While inside the place you could see people, one was a redhead, and the other a black-haired one. They were discussing some matters, but the first to speak was the redhead. Rias, you know Akino Vala is much better than that useless Issei, while looking at the black-haired girl, and he responded. Akino, of course you laugh, but what will we do with the others? While looking at the redhead, she answers. Rias, well, it's very easy, Akino. I'll kill them since they prefer that useless Issei, so they are no longer useful. While looking at her friend. But he was going to answer the redhead, but then he felt a sinister power, and then heard a macabre voice that said the following. So that's what you're planning, Rias Gremory, as she began to emerge from the shadows. While they would see a being with a grim smile that gave them, and they said nothing, and he said the following. What would happen? Don't you recognize me? While pretending to be sad, while the aforementioned recognized me and said the following. Rias, surprise Issei. But how you should be dead for my Oni-sama, while looking at the mentioned one, and he answered. Issei, wow, you already knew that. How? While looking at the but then he sees that the redhead tried to create an attack, but he makes a sign. From the shadows a white-haired girl comes out to hit the redhead in the stomach, while she crashed against the wall while spitting a little blood, while the black-haired girl, seeing that, tries to attack the white-haired girl, but in that she receives some blue fireballs that leave her with wounds, and she is looking at the person responsible, and that this was the sister of the white-haired girl, and she had a fireball in her hand while she stood next to the redhead as the white-haired girl did. While the redhead says the following. Issei, hold them, while the aforementioned held the redhead and the black-haired girl, while the redhead said the following. Rias, damn, you're not going to be, while looking at the redhead, and he answers. Issei, that's very easy, Gremory, you will help me, while looking at the redhead, and she answered. Rias, I'm not going to help you, damn it, while she looked at the redhead with hatred, and he responded. Issei, oh, of course you will, and you too, Himejima, while looking at the black-haired girl, and he answered. Akino, don't make me laugh, damn Issei. I won't help you, while she was spitting at him, but then she receives a kick from the white-haired girl, and he says the following. Kaneko, how dare you, damn it, while preparing to hit him again, but was stopped by the redhead. Issei, wait, my cute Kaneko, while he stroked her head, and she blushed. Then he goes to the redhead's desk and takes out empty bottles along with the chess piece, that the redhead is surprised because that piece belonged to Kaneko, while the redhead says the following. Issei, well, let's get started with this. At that he stands in front of the redhead and places his hand near his chest, and this creates a magic circle, while the redhead began to let out a scream of pain. Rias, hhhh, while the brunette looked at him and said the following. Akino, stop. Damn you. While trying to free herself from the white-haired girl, but it was useless, in that the redhead extracts a red flame and places it in the jar, while the redhead no longer showed signs of life, which scared the black-haired woman, while the redhead takes out another jar, but this one had a black flame inside, and he takes the flame and places it on the redhead's corpse. He introduces it, and then he gets up and opens his eyes, but when he does they are red, and when he looks at the redhead he kneels before him and says the following. Rias, I am at your service, my master, while the black-haired girl looked in complete shock, while the redhead said the following. Issei, very well, Rias, you already know what to do, right? While looking at her, and he answered. Rias, of course, my master, get all the information about Sirzech's plans, right? While looking at the redhead, but then the black-haired girl interrupts. Akino, Sirzech-sama will realize that she is not Rias, while looking at the redhead, thinking that her plan was not going to work, but the redhead answers her. Issei, you think it won't work? Well, you're wrong. While giving a signal to the redhead, she nodded and did the following. At that the redhead closes her eyes and begins to change her aura, which surprises the black-haired girl since her aura was the same as her friend's, and she saw that her eyes also changed from red to blue, while the redhead said the following. Issei, what did Akino say? While saying it mockingly, while the black-haired girl recovered and said the following. Akino, but how? It's impossible, while looking at her ex-friend, while the redhead approached her while saying the following. Issei, now it's your turn, Akino-san, while looking at the black-haired girl with a grim smile, and he would be terrified while saying the following. Akino, Don't see come closer damn while trying to get away. But it was useless pp please 3 say and then don't hurt me while agreeing to shed tears while looking at the redhead. But he had a grim smile while telling him the following. Issei, now you're begging for your life Akino-san ha 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 while laughing at the black-haired girl, and not only him, but also the Nikomatas were laughing at her. In that he does the same thing. He extracts his soul while he is letting out cries of pain, and then he falls to the ground without life while he places his soul in the jar while he takes out another, and does the same thing, and then it will rise from the ground, and then he bows to the redhead and says the following. Akino, I am at your service my master while looking at the redhead, and he said the following. Issei, you already know what to do while looking at the black-haired girl, and he answered. Akino, of course I know, my master. Get all the information from Azazel about his plans while looking at the redhead while he put on his smile and said the following. Issei, well, my second phase completed while waiting for the bottles. But then the redhead catches the redhead's attention and says the following. Rias, I love what we do with Vala Lucifer while the brunette also decides to speak and says the following. Akino, he wants us to kill him while looking at the redhead, and he responded. Issei, not for now since I have plans about while the bowed and answered. Rias/Akino, as you command, master. While the redhead deactivated the magic barrier he had placed on the occult club while the redhead said the following. Issei, now go and fulfill your mission while the respond. Chapter 7 1 of 0. Rias/Akino, understood master while teleporting to fulfill his mission while with the redhead. Issei, okay girls go home then I'll catch up with you while looking at the Nikomatas as they respond. Kuroka/Kaneko, hi Issei Naya/senpai para después se teletransportan a la mansión del Pelirrojo. While with the redhead. Issei, well I think we'll walk for a while leaving the occult club. At that moment the redhead would be walking through the streets. But then he would see the other traitors and then put on a grim smile while saying the following. Issei, wow, it seems like it's my lucky day while snapping his fingers. While the girls would be chatting quietly. But suddenly they see that the sky turned red like blood and then they stood up while looking around for the person responsible for that. The blue-haired girl with green streaks would say the following. Zenobia, prepare yourselves girls, it might be an enemy but she didn't receive a response girls, where are you? While searching everywhere. But suddenly everything went dark while the blue-haired girl with green highlights tried to find her other friends. But suddenly a stroller lit up from which she could hear the cries of a baby and she decided to look. But when she did she would be terrified since she would see a newborn baby without skin and without eyes from which blood flowed instead of tears while she said the following to herself. Zenobia, who would be capable of doing this to this poor baby? But then you would hear the voices of a boy and a girl saying the following. Child, well, it was you, mommy, you did it, while the other girl said the following. Girl, that's true, for having betrayed dad, while the blue-haired girl with a green streak would be terrified upon seeing it. Since the girl was missing a left eye and the boy was missing half of his head, from above. But then he would feel a pain in his leg and then wander his gaze and see another girl with a red dress and who was holding scissors in her hand while saying the following. Girl, did it hurt you, mommy? While saying it mockingly. At that the blue-haired girl with a green streak would answer her. But she would feel a great pain in her shoulder, and then she would see another girl who had sharp teeth and she said the following. Girl, hi mommy, while smiling at her with a grim smile. While the blue-haired girl with a green streak was so terrified that she couldn't say anything while the little ones approached her, and she tried to get away from them. But then the boy would tell her the following. Child, mommy, why are you running away from us? While looking at the blue-haired girl with a green streak, she didn't respond because she was terrified. While the blue-haired girl with a green streak was trying to find a way out of that place, but then she feels a pain in her other leg, and when she sees her she would see the girl in the red dress who had buried her scissors so that she couldn't continue. But what she didn't know is that a redhead was watching everything with a big smile, while he enjoyed the suffering he was causing to the blue-haired girl with a green streak while she was crawling on the ground, while the little girl told him the following. Girl, mommy, why did you betray my daddy? Because while looking at the blue-haired girl with a green streak. But he didn't respond, which made her get upset and decided to bite him and tear off his left arm, while the blue-haired girl with a green streak let out a scream of pain. Zenobia, cheech my arm. But then she would feel an unbearable pain since the girl in the red dress was piercing her stomach with her scissors many times while telling her the following. Girl, because you did it. Because you did it. Because you betrayed my daddy. Answer me, you damn traitor. While she continued stabbing the blue-haired girl with a green streak, but she decides to answer. Zenobia, but who are you talking about? I have not betrayed anyone. But then I would get a kick from the kid and respond, boy, how dare you lie, you damn bitch. While stepping on the stomach of the blue-haired girl with a green streak, you betrayed Papa Isci. While the blue-haired girl with a green streak, upon hearing the brown-haired boy's name, was going to respond, but from the shadows a redhead would come out, and he would say the following. Issei, hello Zenobia-san, how long has it been since we last saw each other? While looking at the aforementioned while being surprised to see that the ex-brown-haired man was still alive. What's going on, Zenobia-san? Are you surprised that I'm alive, right? While looking at her, and he decides to answer her. Zenobia, PPP, but CC, how is it possible? Ria-sama DDDI say that you should already be dead by the leaders. While looking at the redhead, but he answers her. Issei, well, they did it, but thanks to them I awakened my true power. While looking at the blue-haired girl with green streaks, but she was going to answer, but was interrupted by one of the girls. Girl, Daddy, let us play a little with Mommy. Yes, Issei, have fun with her. I'll go see the others. As he entered the shadows, leaving the blue-haired girl with green streaks with the children. As the redhead walked away from the place where he had left the blue-haired girl with green streaks with the little ones, screams of pain and agony were heard later. While in another place, an ex-nun could be seen fleeing from some terrifying creatures that followed her while saying the following. Asia, but why do these things chase me? While holding his hand since it had been ripped off by one of the creatures that followed him. Creature, I won't let her escape from me, while launching an attack. But the ex-nun had barely dodged it, and that another creature would say the following. Creature, she is mine, I will be the one who devours her, while launching himself towards her. But she would duck. But then the third one would say the following. Creature, you are wrong, since I will be the one who devours her, while throwing a rock at her, which made the ex-nun trip and fall to the ground. At that point the creatures surrounded her so she couldn't escape from them. But at that point the ex-nun would say the following. Asia, why are you doing this to me? I'm not doing anything to you. While she looked at the creatures with great fear, and they started laughing at her, and then the first creature would answer her. Creature, do you want to know why we do them? While looking at the blonde, she nodded in fear, and then the second creature would respond. Creature, you betrayed our master, and for that you must pay with your death. That made the ex-nun terrified of what the creature had said, and then the third digested the following. Creature, that's right, silly girl, we're going to make you suffer for betraying our master, and I hope you're ready for your torture. While looking at a terrified ex-nun, while tears came out of her eyes from what the creatures were going to do to her. In that the creatures held her so she couldn't move, while the other creature made some very sharp claws grow on her arm, and then it buried itself in her right eye and pulled it out, while the ex-nun let out a scream of pain, while the creatures laughed at her pain, and then did the same but with her left eye, while the ex-nun continued screaming to stop, but they ignored her and continued with the torture, while the ex-nun said the following. Asia, please. Stop. Please. While crying blood from where they were before her eyes. Please. I beg you. Stop. While trying to get free, but couldn't. Please, Vali Kayen. Save me from these monsters. But she would feel a great pain as they opened her other hand, and not only her hand but also her 2 feet had been torn off, while the ex-nun let out a great scream. Asia, it hurts so. Meanwhile the redhead arrives and sees what he had done to the ex-nun, and he would say the following. Issei, it seems they are having fun. While he watched how they tortured the ex-nun, and when she heard his voice she would say the following. Asia, Issei at you. Please help me. While waiting for the ex-brown boy's answer, he says the following. Issei, sure Asia-chan, leave it to me, as he said it sarcastically while giving the signal to his servants to release her, and then he kicked her so that she crashed against a rock, causing her to spit blood while the creatures laughed. Creatures, ha 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 ha. While the ex-nun was writhing in pain that she had received from the ex-chestnut, while she said the following. Asia, PPP, because why did you do it? Issei-san, while waiting for a response from the ex-brown, and he responded. Issei, do you want to know why I did it? Because you betrayed me with that damn Vala. While looking at the ex-nun, but he would respond quickly. Asia, wait, Issei-san, please let me explain. While waiting for a response from the ex-brown, and he responded. Issei, let's see, Tell me why you did it while waiting for a response from the ex-nun, and she responded, Asia, Ryowani-sama forced me to do it Issei-san because if I didn't do it she was going to torture me and your parents while she waited for him to believe her while the ex-brunette answered her. Issei, so she forced you to do it because if you didn't she would kill my parents while waiting for the ex-nun's answer, and she answered, Asia, that's right Issei-san, that's why I did it to protect your parents from Ryowani-sama while waiting she talks to the ex-brunette to help him. But instead she would be pierced in his stomach causing him to let out a loud scream of pain while the ex-brunette answered her. Issei, you think I'm an idiot for me to believe you, you only say that because you don't want to die. Right Asia-chan while throwing her to the other side where the creatures were Jan whatever I want with her I'll go see my next victim ha 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 ha.
Let me know in the comments below if you guys want the next part. Also check out my other video that has been shown and left. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this video please like and share this video. And have a fantastic day. Bye.